Receiving a provincial offense notice for parking where prohibited. Fine's $53. You can deal with it on the dates that are on there.
You're doing this on purpose, sir.
Okay, so you can move your vehicle now and don't be staying and parked here because you can't.
Where are the real criminals? Why don't you go after the real criminals?
I'm telling you to move your vehicle right now.
There's rapists.
Or you'll get another ticket and then we'll tow it away.
So what you can't see right now is the same individual, I'm assuming again is from the province, is standing by. We have the full clip where you can see if she continues on a little. The same individual's there sort of observing, and it almost appears as though just taking notes and making sure that the officers are upholding this image, you know, as he dismissed her questions and quickly got to, you know, let's move your car, okay, and sort of getting back to that image, to me, was getting back to answering the authority of the province, which was to, you know, let the people know that these types of things right now, you know, whether you agree with it or not, this is just something we have to do. It's not a comfortable process, so satisfy the province. At the same time, help the people by getting it moving, because I think from a tactical response, if you're taking down the organizer, there's probably not much that's going to happen after that. So getting it moving, getting them on their way. Another thing that we forgot to note was through a tactical response is both of the loading zones were taken up by the justice vehicles that were there before she arrived to organize the event. So the tactical response started well before anybody got there. They were probably anticipating more people. I'm going to say lucky for us, the supporters that decided to come forward to maybe exercise their voice a little bit more. Were few and far between, so it did help them to help us. So let's continue on here. It does appear to me that was an initiative to satisfy both the province and help the people. So he's talking here. There's a I think it's a justice representative talking to one of the rally observers, supporters, and he's like, "Don't talk to him, talk to me." I think they're trying again to limit the potential of the people getting a ticket by interacting directly with. I don't know for sure. Probably, you know, safely to say to uphold the image. That the police are doing their part to take it seriously, to enforce, do their part to let the people know that this is, as awkward as it might be right now, something we have to do. So here now is the interaction with me.
Can you afford $1,300? I'm asking you a question. Because if you can't, you better disappear, right? Okay, bye-bye.
May I ask your name and badge number, please?
See you later.
Just,
have a good day.
Can I ask you that one question?
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
1849, is that correct?
You got 5 seconds, or I'm going to start writing.
So I think before that point, as I listened after, at the moment, again, it was sort of, as it was happening, it was a little confusing, but as I listened to it after, the same individual was giving direction, and it sounded as though, you know, his voice was actually quite calm as he presented me, and satisfying the direction of the province as I look at it in hindsight. It wasn't until I asked him for his badge number where, from the police perspective, and this is where we're going to get back to this video that's hot right now with the lady asking about the mask. But from the police perspective, which is what we're looking at right now, he can't say he's trying to help me. But and at the time I wasn't even looking at it from that perspective. It was more of another perspective we'll talk about after, but he can't say that. So when someone says, hey, you know, and starts to pull these questions in human rights moves, which I do definitely believe in human rights, you'll find out, I could see how, from the police perspective, it's almost like if you only knew, buddy, that I'm trying to help you, and you want to file a complaint on me, and I'm trying to save you from, you know, a $1,300 ticket, or, you know, these wolves that are ready to bite your legs apart. So anyway, he asked me to leave, and I did right away, as you see here, and let's continue on watching. There's something about a capacity of a person. When you're out on the street, you have more freedom, especially on public land. As soon as you get behind the wheel of a motor vehicle, the technicalities start to come into play, which we'll talk about in other videos. So right now, I'm technically obligated for some reason, if they have some reason, to provide identification of my person.
I'm just an observer here today.
Yeah, okay,
I wasn't,
okay.
I just walked by and
Oh,
saw.
that's good, yeah, sure. See how this works?
I don't.
Oh, you see how this works?
I don't.
Now you're gonna get my badge number because I'm gonna give you a ticket for something, so just give me your license and registration. It's great, eh?
I'm not looking for any
No,
confrontations.
you're not, then maybe you shouldn't have got out of your car and started something then. License and registration.
What did I start?
You can pull it out of there.
When I was standing out there, I was not in the capacity of my person. I'll just let you know that. Now that I'm in
You're in
the...
the capacity of your person? What does that mean?
No, I was under common law jurisdiction, exercising
You're
freedom.
common law jurisdiction.
Now that I'm in the
Now that you're a
vehicle-
lawyer? Okay.
Now that I'm in the vehicle, I recognize
Okay,
I'm in the...
Okay, now that I got a law lesson, just give me your stuff. Okay?
Well, just so you know, I was not in the capacity of my person,
Just so you know, when the cops tell you to leave, it's time to leave.
and I did right away.
Yeah.
I...
Stay there, don't move.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of things going on there. First of all, I just want to note the same gentleman is there right beside him taking notes, and you know, I'm using the description taking notes. I don't know exactly what the purpose is, it's just my observation. But a whole bunch of things going on there, including, you know, bringing in common law and certain levels of freedom. That's going to be content for videos to follow. But right now, sticking with the perspective of the officer, I'm not sure if he decided to do that on his own because I asked him for his badge number and it was a little bit of an offensive thing, or maybe at that point the province was curious enough about, you know, who's this mysterious man in a jacket with, you know, maybe they had noticed I had a GoPro on at that point, and we want to get some intel on this individual. So I don't know exactly what led to when I got in the vehicle, it's now time to, you know, flex the muscles a little bit. And I'm going to say that from the perspective of the police officers, again, that direction was coming mostly from the province. I think the officers wanted to get us out of there before we got tickets, and the province was helping to give direction on perhaps how they felt that should take place, including getting identification for intel reasons. So let's continue watching a little bit more with some continued narrative. So a vehicle pulled away and I was able to pull up. So basically what's going to happen here, just to make a long story short for this video and sticking with the perspective of the officers, there is some merit to the common law and not in the capacity of your person jargon and lingo, even though the officer himself did seem to be genuinely curious about it. So this is a different officer coming back now.
All right, sir. Here's your driver's license and registration.
Thank you.
Take care.
You as well. Thanks for your service.
Very polite. I did not receive any tickets.
Thank you for your service. You as well.
So a few notes here. First of all, it's important I knew this regardless of the interaction, even if I were to get a ticket, there's some tactical response on my part that's also taking place that we'll talk about in future videos. But sticking with the perspective of the officers and the purpose of this video right now, the second officer coming back, returning without offering a ticket, there is, I believe, reasons why that's happening. We'll talk about in future videos. That's specific to me and some of the language that I was using. At the same time, you can hear in the voices when I'm thanking them for their service. I want to note here that I'm aware of this perspective in my heart, even if it was confusing at the moment. I know that reflection is important, so I'm glad that I can look back and see this, and I knew it was the right thing to do. I've somewhat have relationships with other police officers, and they're people too. Behind the badge, they're people too. They have families, and it seems to me that at the end of the day, even the voice of who we called Officer Barking, or the barking officer was our title for him that day. Even at the end of that interaction, I would say in his voice, he genuinely asked, sent out a gesture of goodwill. And that's really where their hearts are at. Now, if we were to get back to the original video of that officer and him interacting with this other, situation that took place, let's take a look at that from the perspective of the officer.
Why are you not wearing your mask and you're yelling? That's not good. That's not safe for
Okay, because I'm not within 6 feet of you, and you know what? If you want to do that way, I'll just write a ticket. Is that the way you want to do
No,
this?
I'm just asking.
Okay, well,
So I'm just asking
I
for
don't need
next
to
time.
wear a mask when I'm outside.
Even if you're close, I'm just asking you. It's just a question.
Okay, you know what? You can give me your stuff back. You're gonna get a ticket then.
Why is he gonna get a
Just
ticket?
give me your stuff back.
Why am I gonna
You were gonna get a warning. I was being polite.
No,
You're not being polite,
I'm being
so-
polite.
No, actually you're not.
I'm asking you a question.
Okay, so just give me your license and registration.
Sir, I'm asking you a nice
Hey.
question.
I'm gonna ask you once more, and then I'm gonna take it.
So it'll be easy for you to find the whole video, but I think what's important to note with this proposed perspective in mind is this. If I'm that officer, we have to remember that there's regular pressure ongoing pressure here as everybody tries to figure this out, but they're the only ones that are technically responsible to, right now, the first line of authority here, which I would say we want to keep in their hands. But from his perspective, he wasn't going to give a ticket. Yes, you'll find in the video they agreed that maybe they were too close, too fast. I don't know the exact circumstances, but let's just say they had a valid reason to pull him over. They agreed about that. So yes, he was a little upset about it, maybe because of some added pressure. At the same time, he didn't want to give them a ticket. And I think that's because in the hearts right now, they are aware that let's not fool anyone here. People are stretched, especially middle and lower class people, which is, let's be honest, the greater majority of the population. So in wanting to do what they can to help maintain their image right now, I wouldn't want to give out tickets aggressively or assertively either right now. Even if I did have some sort of quota to fill, I would be extra considerate, which it appears to me in his mind and heart, that's what he's doing on top of trying to deal with all of this, which yes, maybe the language and behavior could be toned down a little. That's perhaps a debate for another video. But it seems to me that he really didn't want to give a ticket. And then to be asked about not wearing a mask, I get that it's an important subject, but if we could agree that we're not all going to agree, and maybe he forgot to pull it on or put it up, and at the end of the day, in his mind, he's if you only knew that I'm actually trying to help you. So if you look at the video, you'll find that he says, she says, you're being rude, and he's actually, you're being rude. Something of that context. And I actually understood what he was saying. I also can understand what they're saying, but looking at the perspective of the officers, I just think at the end of the day, it's important to bring forward that there are also people behind the badges. We're all trying to figure this out. And I think that peace is a really important mindset. It's okay to stay in the process of debate. All of these things that might be put in front of us that might want to divide us and give us a reason to bite at each other, let's just remember that we're all having different levels of pressure and process as we look at these things and learn to understand them. Let's just not move to hating each other and getting angry, because peace definitely does seem to be an important thing that humanity has learned, I like to hope we've learned that, and we've come a long way, and this is our chance to show it.